Hello everyone and welcome to Speed Cafe's preview of the 2025 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, proudly brought to you by Ford Ranger. It takes you and a Ranger. This is it, round 24 of the 2025 season, and we are going to find out who the 2025 World Champion will beat this weekend right here. Beautiful Abu Dhabi. We're on the ground here just outside the Yas Marina circuit. It is blustery. The flags around me are moving. The camera's moving slightly, but as you can see, the sun is going down. How beautiful does that look right there? The circuit right behind me. Just spent a couple of hours in there getting used to it all in there. Can I just say the paddock here is absolutely stunning. I have never seen a paddock quite like the paddock here at Abu Dhabi. But we're not here to talk about the paddock. We're here to talk about the championship decider. 3 drivers can win the World Championship. I've had to put notes down here right now to make sure that I get to everything so that we can cover all that is happening this weekend. For the first time since 2010, at least three drivers are in with a shot of winning the World Championship, because back then it was 4 drivers right here at Abu Dhabi, but 3 drivers this weekend. Max Verstappen, amazingly, he is still in with a shot of winning this championship. Lando Norris, of course, leads it, and Australia's own Oscar Piastri still within a shot. He is 16 points behind his teammate Lando Norris. He's 4 points behind Max Verstappen, who is 12 points behind Lando Norris. There's going to be lots of numbers in this video. I just want to warn you right now, because there's a few things to get to when it comes to deciding that championship. But before we get to that, let's go over the circuit details just to clarify how this track looks and what's it like. 5.281 kilometre circuit here at Yas Marina, 58 laps. 2009, the first Grand Prix that we ever had here, and it holds a record now for most ever season finales. Overtook that from Adelaide a couple of years ago, that we've had the most ever season finales at this circuit. And the first time since 2021 that we are seeing a championship go down to the final race. Of course, this is the 17th time that we have had a Grand Prix here in Abu Dhabi, and the 14th time that it will be the final race. It's an interesting circuit, of course, layout mixed with some high-speed straights, some tight corners. Not necessarily the best circuit for racing, but visually this place is stunning. We have the hotel, of course, overlooking the back section of the track. I had to walk around the paddock, and it just is absolutely stunning just to see the architecture, the boats, just everything that you're seeing right now. And it's not even busy today. It's Wednesday. Not many people come in on a Wednesday, the day that I'm recording this, so it's obviously going to get a lot more busier from here, particularly because everybody wants to know who the 2025 World Champion will be. Only 9 times in F1 history has the driver entering a final race showdown not left as the World Champion. The last time that happened was 2010, when Sebastian Vettel came from 3rd. He overtook 14 points. He had a deficit to Fernando Alonso in that round. He led the World Championship at the end of that race when you need to at the end. Previous time to that, 2007, Kimi Räikkönen, also in a 3-way battle. That time around it was with Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton. He overturned a 7-point deficit to win the World Championship. So for Oscar Piastri, just putting some good juju out there, that the last 2 times we've had a World Championship decider at the final round involving 2 or more drivers, the driver in 3rd has gone on to win the World Championship that year. So that is where maybe you can look at that. Oscar, it's pretty simple for him this weekend. He has to finish either 1st or 2nd to have any shot at winning the championship. Of course, he does need other results to go his way. If he wins this Grand Prix, he needs Lando Norris to be 6th or lower, and he will be world champion. It won't matter where Max Verstappen finishes if that is the case, but he will be world champion if that happens. If he finishes in 2nd, he needs Lando Norris to finish in 9th or lower, and also at the same time, I should say, for Verstappen not to win the Grand Prix. So Verstappen would have to finish in 3rd or lower. So that is the simplest equation and the easiest equation to remember this weekend. That is the only way that Oscar Piastri can win the World Championship. Max Verstappen has to finish in the top 3. If he finishes 4th or lower, he will not be world champion. But of course, again, he then needs results to go his way. Easiest option for Max: wins the Grand Prix, Lando Norris, 4th or lower, he is world champion for the 5th time in a row. Only the 2nd driver to ever achieve that feat, behind Michael Schumacher, of course, who did that. The wind is really picking up right now. I feel like I'm in an earthquake right now the way I'm recording this. Lando Norris, it's an even simpler equation for him. He finishes on the podium, he's world champion. It doesn't matter where Oscar or Max finishes. Lando can finish in 3rd, Oscar can win, Max can finish 2nd, he's still world champion. He just needs to finish on the podium. He will be Britain's 11th drivers world champion if he is to achieve that. Of course, for Max Verstappen, as I said, fifth consecutive World Championship. Fifth overall will join Juan Manuel Fangio, Lewis Hamilton and Michael Schumacher as the only drivers to achieve 5 World Championships. And Oscar Piastri, well, we all know about the history he's trying to break. 45 years it has been since Australia has won the World Championship, the Drivers' World Championship in Formula One, since Alan Jones did so in 1980. And he'd only be the third Australian driver to ever do so, of course, joining Jones and Sir Jack Brabham in that feat. So much on the line this weekend when it comes to that. All the talk has been off the back of Qatar, of course, and just what happened there. Should McLaren have pitted one of them? They, of course, should have pitted them. We know that. We've gone over that. But maybe at least one of them. We've seen Oscar Piastri's discussion come up in Parliament this week in Australia. So much has Australia been getting behind what has been happening with Oscar this year. So it's obviously going to be very intriguing. All the eyes of Australia on this weekend here in Abu Dhabi. But there are other things to keep an eye out this weekend as well outside of the Drivers' Championship. We often talk about those minor placings down the line. As I said, I've got my sheet here for numbers because I want to make sure I get this 100% correct for you because, you know, we're Speed Cafe. We need to be 100% correct. So there is a tight battle for 6th place in the Constructors' Championship right now. Currently, Racing Bulls hold that position. They are 12 points clear of Aston Martin in 7th. Now, Aston Martin are 7 points clear of Haas, who then are 5 points clear of Sauber. So basically, we've got 4 teams vying for 6th place in the Constructors' Championship. They might not seem like much, like, okay, 6th place, whoop-de-doo, what does that mean? It obviously means a lot for each of those teams, because you finish 6th versus finishing 9th, you're going to get a little bit more coin in the purse moving forward. So it's obviously a very important battle for those teams moving down the line. And the Drivers' Championship, one very interesting one to note here, the battle for 6th place. Now obviously drivers don't really care if they finish in 5th or 6th, it's not really something for them that really matters. But Kimi Antonelli is now only 2 points behind Lewis Hamilton. So Antonelli is in 7th, Lewis is in 6th. Now that would be a bit of a story if Kimi Antonelli was to finish this season ahead of the man he replaced at Mercedes. We obviously know the troubles that Lewis has had this year, but it'd be a very interesting storyline for that one. And if you're a person who likes to finish in the top 10, if you're a driver, I'm sure you're watching this, all the F1 drivers love Speed Cafe, there is a battle for 10th going on right now. So Nico Hülkenberg and Fernando Alonso just behind Isaac Hadjar, who is in 10th place at the moment. Of course, Hadjar off to Red Bull next year, the announcement made this week. Of course, the worst kept secret, let's be honest. I think we all knew that was going to happen, but that is, of course, has been confirmed. So just all the eyes are going to be on the front, but if you want to keep an eye on a few things at the back, of course, there's a few little things there as well. And it's also a significant weekend just in terms of the sport and what is happening from this point on. This is the last race we will see this current era of F1 cars that we've had since 2022, this ground effect era that, of course, has seen Max Verstappen dominate this era, but this will be the last race we see with these cars ahead of the new regulation change in Albert Park, starting, of course, for the 2026 F1 season. This will be the last Grand Prix you'll ever see the Sauber name on the grid. That's a bit of a sad story. Since 1994, we had Sauber on the grid in some form or another. Of course, Audi taking over that team moving forward into next year. And the last race, we're going to have 10 teams. Cadillac joins us at the next race in Melbourne. We get to see Valtteri and Sergio back on the grid. So if you like 10 teams, we all want more, let's be honest, then make the most of this weekend at Yas Marina. I'm excited. Who's not excited? This is an exciting moment to be a Formula One fan with 3 drivers still in contention, and it's going to be incredibly exciting and action-packed no matter what happens. I'm so intrigued to see the media day tomorrow. All our championship protagonists are in that first press conference, so expect lots of questions to be fired their way. I don't doubt that Oscar will be getting a fair portion of those questions about what happened last weekend, as well as Lando. And expect Max to just be his cool self. He's been so chilled and relaxed recently, Max, hasn't he? So he's the only one of these 3 who's done this before. So he is coming into this with nothing to lose at the same time. But outside of that, plenty of other questions that will no doubt be asked across the media day. It's always an exciting day to be here in the paddock on media day and just to see the vibe of the drivers and get the mood on the ground. And then we move into where it all matters, the racing, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you're watching this from the eastern part of Australia, you get to watch this Grand Prix at midnight on Sunday night. If you're in Brisbane, that's 11 p.m. And of course, if you're in New Zealand, add 2 hours to that. But all the TV times and everywhere else you can watch it, if you're tuning in from Australia and New Zealand, are available on speedcafe.com in the lead up to the race. As will all the coverage from right here on the ground. We have you covered. and we will provide daily updates on our social channels as well, just to let you know what the vibe is going on here in Abu Dhabi. It's going to be an exciting one. I'm pumped, you're pumped, F1 is pumped. We're a couple of days away from possibly a new Formula One world champion or a history-making world championship, with Max Verstappen adding to the name of history that he's already added to so much in the past. Keep it peeled right here to Speed Cafe. We have you covered as we bring you all the action and excitement from the 2025 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.